Can you believe that in the world of Raya and the Last Dragon, everyone's been living in isolation for years, surrounded by this untrusting paranoia, and yet, the first thing they do when they finally find a dragon is immediately try to kill it? Yeah, that happens. I mean, who would have thought that after years of defending yourself from an evil force known as the Drun, the last surviving dragon would be met with such disbelief? But hold your horses, let's get into it, because this movie is an emotional roller coaster full of epic quests, legendary dragons, and the asterisk most random collection of side characters ever. It's like the Avengers crossed with a treasure hunt, but in a fantasy Southeast Asian-inspired world with lots of water, ancient relics, and bad vibes everywhere. So, the story begins with this young warrior named Raya, who, after being raised on tales of a mystical dragon named Sisu, goes on a quest to find this elusive dragon and save her world. And listen, the setup is already a bit sketchy. I mean, the world's been divided into 5 different tribes, and not in a peaceful way. These tribes are constantly fighting each other, and the reason the world's in turmoil is because of the Drun, an evil force that turns people into stone. But here's where the confusion begins. Why did it take until this very moment for someone to finally say, hey, maybe if we just work together, we could defeat the Drun? I mean, it's obvious, right? But no, the tribes would rather keep fighting and distrust each other. So, naturally, when Raya finds Sisu, everyone's all like, is this even real? Can we trust this magical dragon? And Sisu, being the epic dragon she is, says, you know what? Maybe I'll just chill for a bit, because apparently, this world doesn't deserve me yet. So, this ragtag group of characters joins together on an adventure to save the world. And the first thing they need to do is get the Dragon Gem, which is this mystical artifact that can defeat the Drun. Seems simple enough, right? Wrong. It's guarded by tribes who have zero trust in each other. It's a perfect storm of disaster. And while they're figuring out how to unite these groups, they're also being chased by a bunch of Drun-spawned monsters who are just waiting to turn them into stone statues. But wait, what's the deal with this dragon anyway? Sisu, our dragon, isn't like the cool, terrifying dragons you expect. She's funny, kind of awkward, and, well, she has a special magic that can help the world, but she's also got this hilarious personality. She's got these charming, quirky vibes that you wouldn't expect from a world-threatening dragon. And that's what makes her such a delightful contrast to the serious tone of the world. Her magic powers are, well, unpredictable, and her one goal is to get the tribes to trust each other in order to defeat the Drun, because trust, in this world, is the ultimate superpower. Raya, on the other hand, is the definition of determined. After witnessing her father's death and the betrayal of someone close to her, Raya's heart is hardened. She doesn't believe in trust anymore. But when she meets Sisu and learns that this dragon is the last hope, she begrudgingly agrees to join forces. The problem is, the bitter past keeps coming back to haunt her, and trust issues are everywhere, between her, the dragon, and, most importantly, the 5 tribes. Nobody trusts anybody, and that's a huge problem when trying to save the world from being turned to stone. The movie's centerpiece is this moment when Raya realizes that trust isn't just about believing in people, it's about giving people the opportunity to prove themselves. So, while the stakes keep getting higher, and the Drun keep creeping closer, Raya starts to understand that you can't save the world if you don't have trust. But here's the catch, Raya isn't just fighting to save the world, she's fighting to save herself, too. See, she's so consumed by the need for revenge, betrayal, and anger over what happened to her people that she starts to see the world as one big fight. She forgets the very lesson Sisu is trying to teach, that trust can heal even the deepest wounds. So the question becomes, can this world ever truly come together? Is forgiveness possible after so many years of division? And then the most shocking plot twist happens. It turns out that the one who betrayed Raya's family was actually a girl named Namari, the princess of a rival tribe. And guess what? She doesn't just have a cool dragon-shaped weapon, she also has her own trust issues. She believes that her tribe deserves to have the Dragon Gem, and in a totally awkward and unfortunate sequence of events, she ends up stealing the Dragon Gem just when Raya and the team are about to unite everyone and bring peace. Now comes the fun part. As you might imagine, things get way more intense. There's a big fight. I mean, of course there's a fight between Raya and Namari. But it's not just a battle for the dragon gem, this is a battle for everything, for the future, for humanity's survival. Will they trust each other? Will the tribes unite? Will they succeed in bringing the dragon back and defeating the Drune? But wait, it gets better. Sisu, who has this incredible, magical ability, ends up getting turned into stone by the Drune.
No.
This is where things get emotional, and I mean, we all saw it coming, but it still hits hard. Sisu might not be the perfect dragon, but she's the one thing everyone believed in. And with her sacrifice, the ultimate moment of trust happens. In the end, Raya, who finally learns the true meaning of trust, gives Namari the final piece needed to unite the dragon gem. Together, they break the curse, restore the world, and bring back everyone who was turned to stone. And of course, we get the grand finale where everyone learns that if they just stop fighting, peace and trust can heal anything. Phew, that was a lot. But here's the burning question, did the world actually learn anything? Sure, they united, but do we know for sure that the peace will last? Can the trust between the tribes truly be rebuilt, or is this just a one-time deal? I mean, honestly, I'm not convinced that all the betrayals and betrayed alliances were resolved so neatly. Could the villains just come back with their own magical dragons? Is this peace even sustainable? Anyway, Raya and the Last Dragon is a truly epic journey, blending magic, trust, and the value of teamwork, even when everything seems hopeless. It's a beautiful movie with a deep moral that just resonates on so many levels, and yet, there's still a part of me that wonders if these characters will ever be able to trust one another again in the future.